Welcome to A Woman's Brew, where women talk about beer. In today's episode, we're discussing Allagash White, and if it's a beer worthy of sharing with your circle. I'm Joanne, and this is Tori.
Hello, hello.
And we're two beer-loving women on a mission to get more people drinking and talking about great beer. Come join us! I did have to read that one through before.
I actually insisted on it because I thought you will Ron Burgundy that, and once you do that, but you did do this one in one take. But that's because I had you read it first, because I thought if you don't, but it could have ended up in a disaster. But instead, it was joyful.
But normally, if I'm like thinking about it ahead, like making sure I don't mess it up, then I mess it up. So
this one was good. This one was good. Proud of you.
We're on bucket list beers again. Today we have the glorious Allagash White.
Oh, it's got so many good memories for me. It's got so many. Do you have like any like in terms of your Untappd check-ins? Like what's hilarious is like I have no Untappd check-ins of this, but I have drank this a lot. So yeah, I've never checked it in, but hilariously, out of like all the beers that we've covered, I think it's like Allagash and Sam Adams and like those ones that I've probably drank the most and never checked in. But I just thought, let's know where the groundwork's laid here.
Well, I've only checked it in once, and that was in March 2023.
Oh. How many times do you think you've had it? Like quite a few times. I know. I can say 100% I have.
I don't know if I have actually. I think I might have had it at least once more than that. I feel like I had it. I mean, I can't done because I didn't check it in, but I felt like I'd had it when I was doing my sister own training, but I can't have done because I'd have definitely checked it in. So maybe I didn't.
I'm used to drinking them out of a bottle. So there we go. Here's one I've just noticed because I'm used to drinking out of a bottle. It says rouse your yeast with the can bottom up, gently swirl to enrich the beer flavors, flip open and enjoy. So let's something to keep in mind there. I just was happening to read to just be like, let's just double check this one's. I don't know if it's being brewed anywhere else, but
there's instructions on the can, so you gotta like tilt it.
In case somebody's wanting to see the can, I'll hold the can up.
So you've got to kind of hold it on the tilt. So we've only got 330ml. Are they even 330ml?
It's 12 fluid ounces, which is basically the closest you're going to get is 330ml. It's great. It's 330ml.
It looks like a 330ml.
Yeah.
Cans. So you've got to hold it at an angle and then turn it.
I've gone full upside down.
You've gone full upside down? I'm just on a tilt.
I'm on a tilt, but I've done an upside down tilt.
Oh yeah, I think you're right actually. Well let's just
because I'm the New England professional.
Yeah, you are the New England professional. You are.
Who never drank it out of cans like this.
You've got to turn it.
I don't know what I'm doing.
Then flip.
We're rousing the yeast.
Yes, you did need to have it upside down. Okay, yeah, we're rousing the yeast in the Allagash White.
Oh, I'm so excited. I have driven by Allagash a lot of times.
Yeah.
Because every time it's been really poor planning and I expected them to be open at different hours than they were open. And because I've been like caught up at other places. Oof, look at that. I've been caught up at other places and then by the time I get around, they're closed.
The colour is beautiful. Like we haven't even got into like. It
smells beautiful.
Yeah, it smells.
Smells beautiful. I just wanted to crack. I wanted to crack it open, and I'm like, all right, let's just crack it open, see how beautiful it is, and enjoy it.
So something about wit beers, that I learned when I was watching, Jen from Under the Genfluences YouTube videos that were prep for. If anyone wanted to do the BJCP judging exams and things. Really good videos, actually, about different beer styles. So if I can find them, I think they might still be up, I will link them in the show notes. But one of the things that she always said as a descriptor for wit beers was like a milky sheen. about them.
Super checks out.
Right.
That's a good description. That really checks out, because it's like at the bottom there's almost like that whiteness.
Yeah.
And then it's like that pale.
Yep.
Yeah, that milky sheen's perfect.
Right, that was a descriptor that really stuck in my head about like wit beers, and I always look for that. So if you get a decent wit beer, it should have this like milky sheen to it, and it is beautiful. Oh, she's gone in without
I've gone in, yeah. Rude. Sorry. It's just like I just needed to. It's so spicy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's delicious. We'll get into tasting notes. Tori's just got a super happy face on right now. Like, I feel like this is Tori's happy face that should probably be on the cover of the episode.
It is, and I feel like, because every time we've talked, like, history-wise, like wheat beers, Belgian beers, like that, I feel like those were my favourite first styles of beer, in the sense of like that's what I would, minus being like, oh, here's something that's just got an interesting flavour. Like my go-to was just like a Hefeweizen or like anything like that, because that is just the taste that I like more so than lagers and everything else. I've obviously grown an appreciation for lagers, but when I was back in the US drinking beer, like my go-tos were like wheat beers. And then Allagash just hits different. It's great, and it was interesting because as I was prepping some stuff, because you prepped some stuff, I prepped some stuff, and I was going through and I was seeing how like you can buy like the 6-packs and the 12-packs and stuff, and it was funny because I was thinking about how drastically different my drinking habits are now compared to like living in the US, where I would buy 6-packs and 12-packs of the same thing, and now I'm like, how dare you only sell me
absolutely
4-packs minimum? Like it's to me, I'm like, the audacity. But like I
get like irate messages about our listeners when she's
like
in the
again
US
and again,
it's like again, only 4-packs, not even a mixed one.
Yeah,
irate text messages,
and I am properly irate about it. Really but is. Like I used to just sit and be like, oh, you know what? Go into my sister's house for a barbecue, grab a 6-pack of Allagash, grab a 12-pack, not even just Allagash, like anything that I'd be drinking. But like Allagash was definitely one of the ones that you'd be like, grab a 6-pack, great, we're good to go. And it was just so, like for me, it was so accessible. And you really take for granted how accessible some of the beers are. And like, when you think about them in the spectrum of like, are they a top beer, like are they a top rated bucket list beer, it's hard to take that for granted sometimes, because you just think like, oh, that's just normal. Like I never would have thought anything other than like Maine Beer Co. and talking about like, oh, Maine Beer Co.'s beers are top. I'm like, oh yeah, but I just go in a restaurant and just get, when I go back and visit my family, like the amount of times I've had it in a restaurant just because I'm like, oh yeah, no, I like lunch, just get lunch, like that's great, get one of those, never thinking about it. And I think Allagash is one of those beers for me. So when we were like, should we do this as a top rated beer, you grabbed a can and you were like, I've grabbed you a can of this because I found it there and I thought we could do it for top rated beers. Never even crossed my mind really that I'm like, oh yeah, this is one that is considered a top rated beer, isn't it? Because to me it's just so normal.
Yeah, definitely.
But anyways, I digress.
I'm gonna turn our order a little bit on its head, because we're talking about the tasting notes for it,
and I want to drink it.
And we're already drinking it. We cracked it open. We've looked at the beautiful milky sheen that it's
Which
got.
Is not a nice sounding description, but it's very accurate.
But it's accurate. But yeah, if you
it's very accurate, but it's not like audibly pleasing.
No. So I'm going to go into the style guidelines and the notes about Allagash itself first. To begin with,
sounds good.
So interestingly. Let me just slide my geek glasses on.
Hold on. I can actually do it.
Are you actually going to do it? Nice. Actually, I always think this is interesting. So it is considered a wheat beer. It's not an American wheat beer, even though it is a wheat beer that's made in America. It does fall within the wheat beer category. So it actually is in 24 Belgian ales in the 2021 BJCP style guidelines. And it is 24A wheat beer. It should have a pale. It is a pale hazy Belgian wheat beer with spices accentuating the yeast character. A delicate, lightly spiced, moderate strength ale that is a refreshing summer drink with its high carbonation, dry finish, and light hopping. Interesting that they've said when they think in the year you should be drinking it.
I'm on board with that, but I think
mean,
I would have it
yes.
summer, fall,
Right.
summer,
Okay.
autumn.
Yeah.
Those are the spring. Why
I'll drink
not?
a tasty
And
wit
then
beer whenever. Thank you very much.
chuck it in winter. Like, I think you can have it all year round, but it does just hit different in summer or that point of summer where it becomes autumn.
Yeah.
Like that turnover.
But BJCP ain't telling me when to drink beers. They ain't my mother.
No, I tell myself when to do that. But I mean, it's what's nice is that on the can it does say Belgian-style wheat beer, and I think sometimes they'll be like, you'll get these beers that are like meant to be that particular style, and they'll be like, yes, it's a Belgian-style wheat beer, and then like when it actually comes down to it, they're like, oh no, that's just what they wanted to achieve, but that's not actually what it was. So it's nice that it aligns. 5.2%. That's a nice little tidy ABV.
Yeah, that's nice. So in appearance, it should be very pale straw to deep yellow in colour. I think this is a bit paler than that. I think this is a bit lemon.
I think it's the milky sheen.
Straw, I suppose. Yeah.
I would say very pale straw, but I think the milky sheen, so to speak, is what's potentially making it seem more lemony to you. I think.
The beer will be very cloudy from starch haze or yeast, which gives it a milky, whitish yellow shine. Dense, white, moussey head. Head retention should be quite good. I mean, my head's hanging about.
It's hanging about for sure.
I mean, can't guarantee that my glass is 100. I did clean my glasses at the weekend.
I cleaned this one beforehand. I thought it would only be proper for me to use my Solvay Society glass. Nice. RIP. Yeah. But yeah, it does still cling to the side, even though it's not in the middle anymore.
Aroma. So here's some interesting notes. Moderate bready maltiness, often with light notes of honey or vanilla. Light, grainy, spicy wheat aromatics. Moderate perfumey, lemony coriander, often with a complex herbal, spicy or peppery note in the background. Moderate zesty, citrusy, orangey fruitiness. A low spicy herbal hop aroma is optional, but typically absent. Spices should blend in with fruity, floral, and sweet aromas and should not be overly strong. Right, that's an old complex aroma there. I don't know if I'm getting malty breadiness.
I don't get the malty breadiness, but now that you've like said it and I try to pick it out, I'm like, I guess I could see what you would interpret as that, but it wouldn't be the wheat. Yes, the floral, like I could see floral, I could see like immediately spicy, citrusy, yes. Like zesty citrusy notes, like absolutely. I could see the peppery element honey, in vanilla. There. Honey, I think I could get the honey aspect, but it's really hard because I think that honey aspect goes with some of the other like aromas that are coming there. So like I could see how you'd get that, even though it's very different to like if you had, I guess, like maybe a braggot or something like that. You'd be like, oh, it's a very different type of honey.
Okay. Flavour. Pleasant, bready, grainy malt flavour, often with a honey or vanilla character, moderate zesty or in citrusy fruitiness. Herbal spicy flavours, which may include lemony coriander and other spices, are common, should be subtle and balanced, not overpowering. A spicy, earthy hop flavour can be low to none and never overshadows the spices. Hop bitterness is low to medium low and supports the refreshing flavours of fruit and spice. Refreshingly crisp with a dry finish and no bitter or harsh aftertaste. I feel like Allagash White is like more around the citrusy spicy.
Yeah, I don't get the vanilla honey aspect of that at all. Yeah. But I do get like it does sort of leave. It's not massively dry, but it does leave like a dryness, like a light dryness in your mouth. The kind that's sort of like, oh, your mouth is dry, drink some more, please. Like that type of, and like the lack of bitterness, like that's all. I think the second half of what you were reading, like the first few things I was like, nah. And then as it kind of got about few in, I was like, yep, okay, yeah, that's all. But then from that point, I think it was like gold star. Like, no, absolutely. It does nail those briefs.
Yeah. Finally, mouthfeel, medium light to medium body, often having a smoothness and light creaminess. Effervescent character, from high carbonation, refreshing from carbonation, dryness and lack of bitterness in finish, no harshness or astringency, should not be overly dry and thin, nor should it be thick and heavy. I mean, true.
I'm trying to process it in my mind because I just took, while you were talking, I just sort of like, it is on the, it's weird because it does have this like thinness to it while also not be like, I genuinely don't know how to put it into words. It does have a thinness while also not being thin.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Like,
there's no other way to say that because it's not like chewy. It's not like a big chewy full mouthfeel.
Like, it's just got a really pleasant body. There's body there, but it's not so thick that it's heavy, because you want it light to get those lovely complex flavours across, and for it to be really refreshing in the summer. So
it's not watery thin, but it is on the thinnest. I do think like it's saying like a thin, like a light medium type body makes sense. I think my biggest problem is like not drinking it too quickly.
Yeah,
like that's the biggest problem I have. Is like this size can, like I wish we had bigger cans because
we only got little cans.
We're gonna absolutely wreck that in 30 seconds. So that's why I was like, we had to flip it on its head and do tasting notes. I'm going to be drinking water for most of this because that's going to be gone before we even get to the rest of it. To be honest.
Do you want some numbers? I know you like.
I always, I hate numbers and I love them. I hate doing the numbers. Love hearing about them.
So the beer colour is straw to gold, which is SRM 2 to 4.
Oof.
ABV range 4.4 to 5.5%.
Perfect.
IBUs 8 to 20. Ideal serving temperature 4.4 to 7.2 degrees Celsius, which is 40 to 45 degrees Fahrenheit. Recommended glassware, a tulip glass. And commercial examples: Allagash White at the top of the.
Well, ticked it. Nailed that one in one.
Blanche de Bruxelles, Kellis White, Hoegaarden, Omgang Wit, St Bernardus Witbier. So it's in like, there's a fairly interesting kind of mix there in commercial examples of actual Belgian examples and American versions. Omgang, Kellis is technically American. Allagash, Blanche de Bruxelles, Hoegaarden, St Bernardus, Belgian. So I thought that was interesting.
It's interesting with the Hoegaarden example. I've saved a link for this and we can share it. There's an article. I don't know if you found this in your research, but in my research, I found an article by downeast.com that covers so this came out in 2018, so it's a relatively old article, but it's called How Allagash White Conquered the World, and it's quite a good article, and it starts off by saying that basically, where Allagash White's story begins was actually 30 years prior in a small Belgian village called Hoegaarden, where that brewer then came over to the US and brought Hoegaarden over.
Spoiling the history.
Oh, well, I didn't know if you were going to cover that or not because you mentioned Hoegaarden. So I've got this really good article we can share, but I won't do any more spoilers there. But I found that really it must be surreal to be listed, have your beer listed.
Yeah.
With that, when you hear the history that I'm not going to do any more spoilers for.
Yeah. So I mean, actually, as well, Allagash White has been around for 30 years this year. So that works out quite nicely for us to do this one this year. So we'll talk about Allagash Brewing first. It was founded in 1995 by Rob Todd in Portland, Maine. He had been learning brewing at Otter Creek in Vermont in 1993, and was inspired after drinking Kellis White. Now, we have talked about Kellis White before when we were talking about white beers. When did we do white beers? Like 2021?
Oh, gosh. So long ago.
So long ago
that I can't even.
So we talked about.
Remember.
We talked about.
I think I recorded that outside as well because it was nice and sunny.
We talked about white beers. Talked about wit beers in particular, and so Hoegaarden, which is a if you haven't had it, very famous Witbier. You can get it in Tesco's. Go and get some.
Get it in a lot of supermarkets.
Yeah, that was basically, it was very popular, and then kind of with the introduction of lagers and with the World Wars, it started to decline in popularity, and a guy called Pierre Kellis basically revived it. Then it got bought, Hogarden got bought by one of the big boys. She says, looking at,
I think it's Miller.
Miller got bought by Miller, and then they were making it, and the quality wasn't as good, and the Kellis family ended up moving to the US, and they got the rights to the recipe back and started brewing it as Allagash White. And that then became very popular. Michigan Brewing Company then held the rights to Allagash White from 2002 to 2012 until its closure. But then Christine Kellis, Pierre's daughter, reopened the brewery and successfully resumed the production of the beer. And that, the production of Allagash White, basically made the style popular again. And Rob Todd drank some Allagash White and was like, oh my God, what is this beautiful nectar? As most of us have found when we drink, our first delicious craft beer.
You
and
ain't
they're
wrong.
like, where do I get more? Sometimes you go, how can I make that? And Rob Todd went, how can I make that? So he decided that he wanted to introduce a brewery that made Belgian styles of beer in the US, while most American breweries were focusing on British or German styles. He started off by trying to recreate this Allagash White, make a Belgian wit beer. He brewed multiple pilot batches to try and get his final recipe for Allagash White. He did 8 pilot batches on a 10-gallon kit. He then scaled it up and did 2 test batches on a 15-barrel kit. Now, this was I feel like we hear this a lot with the early American craft brewers. Like, he had basically jerry-rigged this brewing kit out of some dairy equipment. And I know that Sierra Nevada did the same. So, like, a lot of these brewers started off with these made-up kits where they just made them themselves. So on his 15-barrel kit made out of dairy equipment, he finally came after 10 batches to the recipe that he wanted to lock in for Allagash White, and then he launched Allagash with this beer. It took a while for it to catch on. It took about 10 years. People didn't really know what to think of it. It was hazy, and they were used to the beers being clear. It had an unfamiliar aroma thanks to the Belgian yeast. They were used to, beer smelling like, air quotes, beer. It was brewed with spices, and people were like, what do you mean, spices? Like kitchen spices? Yeah, basically, yeah. But they were supported by a local bar that trailblazed the style and was trailblazing craft beers at the time, called the Great Lost Bear in Portland, Maine. Not Portland, Oregon, Portland, Maine. And Joshua's in Brunswick. And because of those, Rob was able to get his beers in front of people. Gradually, more people tried it, and then more wit beers came on the scene. Think Blue Moon, made by Molson Coors, became widely available. So then people got used to those flavors, and so then people were like, "Oh yeah, that's a flavor profile that I can get behind," and so drank a bit more Allagash White. In Rob's words, he wasn't worried about the slow pickup. He, in all honesty, thought he'd never have more than maybe 10 employees. That he would have been happy toiling away in obscurity, making enough Allagash White to serve bar patrons around Portland, and if he was lucky, a few surrounding towns. When some of these articles was written, Allagash has 150 employees, so he's done all right.
That's a lot more than 10.
Yeah. I've got some facts about Allagash as well, if you'd like to hear them.
Oh, definitely, because I want to know if one of them has to do with would you put an orange slice in it, yes or no?
It does not. So, but Allagash is also B Corp certified, and they got that certification in 2019, and then they reaffirmed it in 2023 with a higher score, reflecting their social and environmental commitments. So some things that they do to get their B Corp status. When it comes to finding ways to reuse, repurpose, and recycle, Allagash walks the walk. The initiatives are endless and are baked into the DNA of every employee of the company. I'm really enjoying this marketing talk that I've got written down here. They find ways to be environmentally friendly, and instead of finding it a burden, they take it as an opportunity. So they are finding new homes for used materials, which results in keeping 99% of waste out of landfills. They repurpose spent grain with local farmers to be used as cattle feed, which is what a lot of breweries do. They've installed a solar array on top of the brewery to reduce energy needs. They've created a designated green team, constantly looking for ways to be more environmentally friendly. They use motion sensing LED lights throughout the brewery. They collect used corks, which are then sent to recork to turn into sandals and yoga blocks. They collect wire cages from Allagash bottles and have them specially recycled. They reuse all packaging materials from bubble wrap to packing peanuts and air pillows. They are a founding member of the Glass Recycling Coalition, a group of companies dedicated to improving the recycling and sustainability of all kinds of glass. They find ways to use less water per barrel for brewing and cleaning in the brewery, which, breweries use
That's gonna be hard.
so much water. Like 95% of beer is water, and then all the cleaning and everything. Like, so
95% of brewing's cleaning and
cleaning.
95% of beer is water. So
that's a lot of water.
That's a lot of water. That's, by my maths, that's like nearly 200% water.
That's a lot of water. And they donate money to Sebago Clean Water Organisation with the purpose of keeping the brewery's water source clean and pure for years to come.
I'm imagining that's Sebago Lake, and I've been to Sebago Lake.
There you go. Yeah. So there you go. That is Allagash.
It's very interesting because I find that, like, when I've looked at a lot of those New England breweries, like the ones that are in Vermont, like think like the Alchemist, or like other breweries that are in Maine, so you've got like Maine Beer Co, like all. I don't know if I'm very biased because I only have that viewpoint of those breweries, but like I think even compared to like Massachusetts breweries, for example, like when I look at Maine breweries and Vermont breweries and New Hampshire breweries, like there's so much focused on nature and sustainability and like recycling the right way. And like the Alchemist, like they do similar where they're like, how much of this can we recycle? And Maine Beer Co does very similar things with those. So it's really interesting that there's this trend, and all three of those breweries that I named were very much like, we just want to brew. Like when they started, there was very specific things they wanted to brew, and they were like, I will just start with this one, and I'm going to make this one the best one. And they've maintained that status as having like the award-winning beers. So there's clearly a method to it. Clearly
that's a really good segue. Because I have some information about the awards.
Oh,
that Allagash White has won, which I thought you might be interested in. So Allagash White is the most awarded Belgian-style witbier in the world, with, as of 2023, 10 gold, 3 silver, and 5 bronze medals from the Great American Beer Festival, World Beer Cup, and European Beer Star, far surpassing other beers in its style. So the recent award highlights, we're going to go backwards in time. So 2024, it got, at the Great American Beer Festival, it got gold medal in Belgian-style wit beer, which marked its 10th gold at that festival. In 2023, it got silver at the Great American Beer Festival wit beer category, and Allagash was named Brewer of the Year in its size category, which is 15,001 to 100,000 barrels.
That, to me, my brain's like, yeah, that's a number.
Right. In 2021, it was the first time it was awarded Brewery and Brewer of the Year at the Great American Beer Festival in its division, plus a silver for Allagash White. And Rob Todd received the James Beard Award, Outstanding Wine, Beer or Spirits Professional in 2019, in no small part thanks to Allagash White's influence. So it's a pretty well-respected beer.
I mean, yeah, I think it's got to be really impressive to just be like, out of every wheat beer, it is the most awarded one.
Yeah.
So I guess, like, already that explains why it's considered a top-rated beer or a bucket list beer. Like, you can't really, like, with some of these beers, you just go, oh, people regard it really highly.
Yeah,
the people really love it. The white whales that you seek out, like, those type of things. Whereas this is literally like, it has won nearly 20 medals in the last however many years.
30 years.
And is the most awarded. Years. Yeah, that's wild that it's been around for 30 years.
Yeah.
Insane.
I don't think of the 1990s as 30 years ago.
I don't either, because that's wild. How is that possible? Because I'm only in my 20s and I was born before that. So, it's insane. The math don't be mathing.
I was having this conversation with my brother. Proper tangent, everyone. I was having this conversation with my brother, who is 3 years younger than me. And he sent me something that was just like, yeah, people in their 40s. And he was like, how very dare you? And I'm like, I was at an event. And I had my Gemma and the Holograms Loungefly bag on. And someone saw it and went, oh, I remember that cartoon. And I was like, yeah, there's a bunch of merch out. Like, you should look out for it. Because it's, I'm like, it's its 40th anniversary? No, that doesn't feel right. 30th anniversary. No, it is its 40th anniversary because it came out in 1985. And I am 43. So, yeah, there's loads of stuff out for its 40th anniversary. Oh, God. And I sent this to my brother and he was like, you are lying. That is not 40 years ago. And I was like, yes, it is, bro. Like, Sars, we are, as my niece likes to put it, we are old.
I think there's albums that have been like coming on their 20th or 25th year anniversary. I was like, well, this isn't right. Incorrect. That can't possibly be right. Like, because I remember listening to this and there's no way if it's 25 years old that I could have been listening to this. Somebody at work who was saying, admittedly, I'll say they said they were really bad at guessing ages, but they were like, literally they went, haven't a clue how old you are. You could be anywhere. And they were like, you could be, the exact words were, you could be anywhere between 24 and 35. I have no idea because you are the most immature human being. No, he didn't say that. He just said he didn't say that. He just like, you could be anywhere between 24 and 35. I literally have no idea. And he's like, that's just because the shit that makes you laugh is the most immature stuff as well. And I was like, yeah, well, I just went, I'm timeless. Just and then I was like, how old do you think I am? I was like, put me in order.
I hate that game though. I hate it. But
no,
I just never know. Like I'd have no clue how old people.
He said, how old do you think I am? I was like, I don't know, because at my age, like I can't. Because I mentally think I'm a lot younger. I assume
everyone's the same age as me.
So I just go, well, if we're all 25,
right?
Clearly, we're all 25. Wild. So, like, I find that a struggle, and it is hilarious because it was literally that situation where he's like, I can't work it out with you. You could be any age. And I said, put me and these other 3 co-workers in order of who you think is the oldest. And he put me at the youngest, and I was like, nope. And I was like, I'm the oldest.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was fantastic. It was a really great ego boost. And then I had the audacity to like be like, how could you say blah blah blah? And he goes, I literally told you that I didn't know how old you are. You're gonna sit here and argue that? And I was like, yeah, no, carry on.
It's not, I don't think it's until like you go, oh yeah, this thing like from our childhood
30 years ago.
What?
It's a movie or an album, or this beer's 30 years old.
Famous thing that, you know, was around when we were kids or whatever, and someone's like,
it feels like me and Allagash would have been friends in school.
Right.
That's all I'm going to say about my age, because that still says that I could be anywhere between 24 and 35. People are never going to know.
I love it. I love it. I have some food and beer pairing.
Oh, I like this.
So I found a really good article in foodandwine.com called Hefeweizen versus Witbier. What's the difference?
I'm sure people would be like, same.
Incorrect. So here's some. I'm going to put that in the show notes so you can go and read it. But here's some bits about the different glasses that you should use and food that it would pair with. So Hefeweizen, which this is not, this is a Witbier, should ideally be poured into a tall vase-like Weizen beer glass. This supports the style's big frothy white head while concentrating yeast aromas and showcases the beer's golden haze. Witbier is traditionally served in a French jelly glass. She says, looking behind her, because I had a French jelly glass somewhere, but I can't find it. It's one of those ones. Right, so it's those ones that look like a tumbler, but they've got kind of the fluted bit around it. Like, search French jelly glass and you'll see what I mean. It looks like a tumbler, but it's like fluted around the outside.
I tried to look up French jelly cats and I was like, no. Okay. They kind of look like I can see like where their beer glasses, but then what's coming up is like when you go to like IKEA or something and they have like a set of 6 like really short ones that I'm like, oh, that's not it. But then when I see it poured as like a beer glass, I'm like, that makes sense because they're like
definitely
taller.
Seen them in Belgium. I can guarantee you.
Yeah.
Which is, says here, not unlike a shorter, wider water glass, and that supports the beer's aroma-packed foam. Similarities come into play when pairing wheat beers with food. These types of beers are phenomenally diverse when it comes to food pairings. They're a dream with a handful of fresh cheeses, salads, most brunch dishes, grilled fish, light pizzas, oysters, and so much more. For Hefeweizens, the classic combo of German-style beer with Weisswurst sausage. Hefeweizen also pairs particularly well with sushi, as the beer's light breadiness, citrus character, and spice works well with the seafood's subtle and often saline flavours. When it comes to Witbier, steamed mussels are a classic nod to the style's Belgian background, and fruity desserts like lemon panna cotta and blood orange sorbet are also a good match. So let's.
I can see around the sorbet,
blood orange sorbet, and pair it with our Allagash Whites.
I could see that, but then like the
lemon panna cotta. Ooh, that sounds.
The saddest part though is like I don't like seafood, and this is all like pairs great with all these different seafood, and it makes sense because it's like Maine, it's by the water, and I'm like,
the pepperiness, that lemon goes really well with fish, like.
I think that's the thing that blows.
Fish is light.
It blows people's mind the most about when I'm like, yeah, no, I'm originally from New England. It's not about the fact that they're like, you don't sound like you're from Boston. You don't sound like you're from New England. It's because they're like lobster rolls, and I'm like, don't like them. And they're like, what do you mean you don't like them? I'm like, hate seafood. And they're like, how can you hate seafood? Like you're not from New England. I'm like. That's the thing that you're clinging on to.
Right.
That's the one thing is I don't like lobster rolls.
Love it. Yeah, I've got in the part because I'm not a massive seafood fan, and people are like, "But you're from England," and I was like,
"They're like fish and chips."
Right. I was like, "No, do you know what? I like it. I like a good cod and chips in batter, but I just don't like a lot else. But I have to be in the right mood for it.
I don't even like it, but I like the smell of it. That's the biggest struggle of all. Is I'm like, I love the smell of fried food when it's battered in like a beer batter or something. It like smells so good. But it's the same thing like in New England. Not so much lobster rolls because I'm just like no, like I'm good. But when you get fried scampi or anything like that, it's just like it smells so nice, but it's because it's fried. Like it's not like I'm like, oh, seafood smells nice. I'm like, oh, that fried like I would eat the batter if it fell off, but I won't eat the seafood. And it's so depressing because it's like all the nice things that it pairs with food wise. Like
I was well renowned as a child for if anyone was in my family, like my grandparents, my great grandparents, when we go visit, if they were having fish and chips, I would just sit and pick out all the they'd have to give me like the crispy bits that are in the chip. Like you get little bits of the batter in with the chips.
I think
like,
I'd probably eat that. I'd be brave enough to eat
and
that.
I would just like they would my grandparents, my great grandparents would like if Lord Giant's coming around, put it to the side for me because I would literally just be like, where are my crispy bits? Your favourite grandchild is here. I'm the oldest of all the kids.
She has arrived.
I am here. Where are my crispy bits? Thank you very much.
Oh, yeah, I feel like it would be really interesting, not in this episode, to just be like, oh, what are our weird things from childhood? Maybe not on any recording, but I feel like that is not... That one's not the one for me, but I think that if somebody did give that to me, I'd go, yeah, I'd have that. That's the exception because it's not actually, it doesn't count. It's not seafood. It's just a fried bit of batter.
It's just batter.
Yeah, I could get on board with that. Oh, well, do you have any other fun facts?
That was all of my fun facts.
Well, I guess we could say where also it's listed as best beer.
So I lied. I have what the ingredients are.
Oh, okay.
So it's brewed with a blend of oats, malted and raw white wheat, spiced with coriander, curacao orange peel, plus one secret spice to keep with the Belgian tradition. Secret spice that nobody knows.
What kind of secret spices are there?
Don't know.
That's wild.
Yeah, so there's a secret spice in it. If you know what the secret spice is, listeners, or if you can guess
it.
Let us know.
Give us your guess. I want to know. womansbrewpodcast@gmail.com. Send us your guesses. Tell us what the secret ingredient is.
Black pepper or like pink pepper or something.
Yeah, it'll be like Himalayan Himalayan salt, but then it's not salty, so it's like you'd be like, it's peppery, there's no salt in there. They're like, lies, it's Himalayan pink salt or something, or like some strain of Himalayan pepper which is also pink or something. I don't know.
Yeah, let us know your thoughts, listeners. Tell us what you think the secret spice in Allagash White is.
Secret spice.
So, there you go. That is my... Oh, and then...
No Maris Otter.
No Maris Otter in this one.
No Maris Otter in this one.
No Maris Otter in this one. It is wheat. All different types of wheat. I have found this beer in World's Greatest Beers on page 77, but that's it.
It's also in the beer bucket list on page 9.
Nice.
Got you covered. Because I had the also in the World's Greatest Beers, it was Johnny Garrett's pick, but then the bucket list of beers, it was page 9. Check it out, because I bought the bucket list of beers thinking, well, it would just be fun to go through.
I feel like I must have missed it in one of the other books. Like,
I'm sure it's in like loads of books, because this is it. It's like when you search for it on Reddit, when you search for it, like I asked, I'm not going to read it because I don't think we really need to, because I feel like we covered so much as to why. I asked ChatGPT, I said, like, summarize why you think that this is like the greatest beer. Like, why would you say that this is a bucket list worthy beer, you know, top rated beer, and give me some sources to cite and everything like that. And it was literally like award winning. It's all the stuff we already talked about, which was just like award winning and like here's feedback from people that have had it. And when you search on Reddit, normally you get some like controversial, like, oh, I don't actually think this is that good. A lot of the Reddit posts that were coming up were very much like, oh, here is like, I've really enjoyed this. I live in the Pacific Northwest. We don't really get it a lot in the Pacific Northwest. Where can I, like, what can I find that's similar, that's more accessible? Like those type of questions of like people enjoying it and being like, I can't find it. Yeah, that was quite interesting. And then like the other, I mean, some of the other posts I found that we can share because I just thought it was interesting. I'm assuming you found the hop culture one, which was the 11 things you didn't know about Allagash White. Yes, we can share that. But I found somebody made, they're called, it's on a subreddit called r/52 weeks of baking. And somebody made for week 5, 6 years ago. Yeah. An Allagash White inspired biscotti, which was orange. It was an orange and coriander biscotti. And it said, enjoyed with tea, cocoa, or beer, whatever fits your fancy. And like, I love a biscotti. Biscottis are so easy to make. And I'm like, I never would have thought of being like, yeah, let me do a biscotti inspired by Allagash White. But actually, that lends itself so well to the flavours of biscotti. So I might have to give that a go now.
Like, you could probably put a splash of the beer in as well.
Yeah, I bet you could.
Yeah.
And now that's kind of inspired me, but I only had this one can and it's nearly gone and it makes me sad.
And I feel like you'd want to put like a white chocolate drizzle on that.
Oh yeah, or like maybe even just like a bit of a, you know, I don't like chocolate orange, but a white chocolate orange.
Or like a or lemon, a white chocolate infused with lemon.
I feel like that would clash with the coriander and the orange, though. I feel like that'd be too much. I feel like it'd be too much. I feel like it would take away from the flavours.
This feels like a challenge.
We'll both make our own Allagash White inspired biscotti, and it'll be like a bake off. We'll be like, go, because I feel like that's actually something you could send in the post. That's not going to go awful, and they're hard enough that they'll withstand it. Let's have a bake off. That would be fun. I did think. Well, before I get to the bits that I played around with, I'm nearly done with mine. You've not really had a chance to drink yours, so I'll talk so you can drink yours now. Is yours gone?
Mine is nearly gone also, so do not panic.
Looking at Untappd, because obviously I like to give us the Untappd and the beer advocate. So Allagash White has had a total of 523,278 check-ins. There's 315,269 nice, unique check-ins. I have 0 check-ins of it somehow. I literally don't know how that's possible.
I'm surprised that, mine was 2023. I feel like I must have had it before then.
Absolutely wild.
Maybe I didn't.
The monthly check-ins are 2,158. Out of 281,284 ratings, do you want to guess what the average rating is?
3.9.
3.75, which I feel very harsh. And normally... beer advocates ones that go really harsh on it. So
I thought I was being harsh with 3.9.
No, 3.75, which I thought was... These
people that are drinking wheat beers and don't like wheat, and then they're like, don't like wheat beer, one star.
Well, let me read some of my favourites. One of them that has somebody that has checked it in 14 hours ago, as the point that I was snippeting this, like not that long ago. Their comment was just EH. And they rated it 3.5.
I mean,
and it's just like, And I was like, okay. Other people haven't rated it, but have called it a must-have when in Maine. Mm-hmm. So that's in the same can as we have, but it's like a bigger can. This is the one that made me immediately think of what you've just said. Somebody checked it in at a Wolfgang Puck restaurant at an airport saying... GSP delayed. I don't know what airline. GSP is a GSP delayed flight airport beer. Meh. Don't like white. Don't know why I ordered it. And it's not even a full 3 stars. It's like 2.75 stars. And you're just like, and 3 people toasted it, and you're like, you're basically like, great. I've had this beer.
Dude, that's on you for picking the wrong beer.
And this is the exact reason why I just don't even bother rating stuff on Untappd anymore, because that is wild to be like, had a delayed flight. There's a whole bar of things I could have chosen. I don't like whites. So guess what? That's what I ordered. And then I rated it 2.75.
Like, it's not even like it's
3 of like my homies said yes.
It's not even like it's literally called Allagash White, my dude.
And then like didn't know what I was getting. Don't know why I got this. Right. Wild. I think if I didn't like that, I probably would have, and they got a pint. Like, this was a US pint as well. The photo's a US pint. So it's like, why'd you even get a pint of that if that's not even, if you wanted to try it, that's different.
Sometimes they only do pints, actually, because when I got stuck in Arizona, I ended up luckily in the terminal I was in, there was a bar that was an Arizona brewery, and I was like, I had like a 5-hour wait for my flight because I'd missed my flight, and I was like, well, I'm tired already. I don't want to have too many beers because that will just put me to sleep and I might miss my connecting. So I was being careful. But I think I had a couple of beers, and then they had like a wee heavy. Oof. And I was like, I do need to try that. And I was like, can I have a small? There was no such thing as a small. It just came in a pint. And I was like, okay, guess I'm only going to drink half of it.
Guess we're pinting. Let's go.
Guess that's what's happening. There was no such thing as small. There was no such thing as half.
But you liked the beer. Like, if you were
it
like,
was good. Yeah.
if you were like, I don't like this style, and they can only serve it to me in big size,
pick something,
you'd be like, maybe I get something I like more. But that was wild. But I'm not going to diatribe anymore about that. What I also liked, so this one's rated 3.5. It looks like.
Okay.
And I don't really understand what's happening here. They checked it in at some place called Starboard. Don't know where it is because I didn't look it up. And they just said, a man's got to have a code. I don't know what that means, but I was intrigued. And then I looked at the comments and somebody else followed up. And this is a very niche reference that says, and keys, and you are a tourist. And then he followed up with saying, well played. That's a Death Cab for Cutie reference. And I couldn't work out what the fuck. I was like, man's going to have a code. What does that even mean? And then I looked and was like, and keys. Okay, codes and keys. That's a Death Cab for Cutie reference. Oh, and you are a tourist. Also a Death Cab for Cutie reference. And then the guy followed up with well played. And I was like, I don't know what his original intention was. Because I looked at that photo. I stared at that photo. Could not see any connection to Death Cab for Cutie. Was very confused. So I thought I'd share that one.
So there is a guy locally near me who I bump into at bars every now and then, and his Untappd is he finds song lyrics that goes with every beer that he tries.
I like that. That's fantastic, actually.
And like the other day he put something in, and sometimes I'm like when he first started doing it, I didn't realize what he was doing, and I'm like, what is he doing? Like, was that song playing when he was doing? But he just finds a song that he thinks like relates to the beer. And then the other week he put something, and he's like, I cannot find a song that goes with this.
And were you like,
oh. Yeah, we were like, oh. Because he set such a precedent now that like
does his profile say like I do that, or do you just have to work it out?
No, you just worked it out. It's one of those things where you just started doing it, and I was like, I don't understand what's happening here. And then I was like, oh, okay, I get it now.
That sounds lovely, and I absolutely like it. And I want to say that while I'm reading through these, think about what song you think Allagash White would be, and then at the end you can tell me what song lyrics you think that is. But yeah, I mean, this was like. The lyrics of Death Cab, it's not a man's gotta have a code, so that's why I was like, oh, they just took code and keys, and I was like, okay. Somebody else that actually gave it a type of nice words said it was about 3.75 and said nice Witbier orange and coriander finish. I was like, okay, you actually went with a proper helpful. Somebody else said like a saison, nice by the water. Okay,
cool.
So that was great. And then someone else, Katie Tan, put, also first beers on honeymoon, Tan hates, Katie likes a lot. And I'm like, yay, Katie. Yay, Katie. And congrats on your honeymoon.
Yeah.
Congratulations on your wedding. You're never going to hear this, but congratulations on your wedding.
Continue to like drink the beers that you want to drink, Katie.
Yeah, I'm like, you go, Katie. Yeah. And then I think someone else summed up how I feel, which is why would you not? What I found about Untappd, it just says, why would you not? And I was like, yeah, I agree. It's 4.25. I think what I found is normally Untappd has lots and lots of reviews, and they're all normally like, compared to Beer Advocate, just not a lot of stuff that's like as in depth. It's normally just people being like, I don't know why I don't like whites, but I ordered it anyways. Not helpful for me. Not helpful for me. Yeah. But in this regard, like those ones that I pulled, I mean, there weren't. This was only the first, like, I don't know, weeks, but there wasn't a lot of comments to go on.
Yeah, I think people.
And those are the ones I pulled.
I think people are commenting less on Untappd. I think. I don't know. Has the golden age of putting your beer notes on Untappd died a death? Who knows?
Potentially. That's a whole separate episode.
Right.
Beer Advocate, if we're looking at Beer Advocate, now I don't know the scoring, I don't really understand how it works, but the score is rated 93, which is considered outstanding on there. It's ranked number 2 for Witbier.
What's number 1?
I don't know, let me find out.
Did you not look that up? I wanted to know the answer to that.
No, because I was content with it being number 2.
Number 1.
I know what it's like to just be number 2, like, so it's fine. Side Project Brewing Beer Blanche.
Oh.
Side Project is a brewery in Maplewood, Missouri.
Okay.
Not heard of them.
Nope.
But good for them if they
on
can
them,
be
yeah,
number
for
one
being number
compared
one.
to someone that's got 18 awards.
Yeah.
Ranked number 2, that's fine, you're still silver. It's got a score rating of 93, as I said. It says it's ranked number 3 in terms of that rating, ranked number 3,127, I'm guessing overall, whereas the other second place rank was for Witbier specifically. Average rating. Do you want to take a stab at average rating?
On
Beer Advocate.
What's theirs out of? 5.
I think it's just out of 5.
4.
4.16.
Oh,
so
this is far off.
Yeah, it's got 1,564 reviews and 6,035 ratings. In terms of this one, all of those are really proper in depth. The only one that I picked up, because I thought it was an interesting conversation piece, was somebody rated it a 3.41 out of 5. It said look 4.25, smell 3.25, taste 3.25, feel 3.75, overall 3.5. And it said on tap, came to me with an inch white foamy head that left considerable lacing. Hazy, light yellow in colour, didn't get much aroma from this beer. Taste was light, easy drinking, some coriander noticeable, not much else. Maybe my palate is unrefined, but I just did not get much flavour from this beer. Very disappointing because I looked at the BA ratings beforehand. Admittedly, this is a style I'm not very familiar with. It was not horrible, but I was expecting too much maybe. And I think for me, the conversation point there was like, have you ever felt like, in terms of it being a bucket list beer, that you've had a beer that maybe at that point in your journey maybe wasn't on a bucket list, and then as you refined your palate more and you understood what you were looking at, it became a bucket list beer? Or have you had examples where you were like, everyone's saying about how amazing this is a bucket list beer for sure, I'm going to have it, and then you had it and you were like, oh, I mean, I know for a fact you have, because we shared this moment and we've talked about it several times.
Yeah, I definitely have. I'm not going to talk about that moment. I'll let you can talk about that moment if you want. I wonder, just circling back to that review, if it was too cold. I wonder if they served it too cold.
True. That,
because that,
and you do run the, and I do think that is a time that you run the risk. And I think as well, a lot of places in the US they tend to go with cold, but like, not only that, they'll be like, here's a frosty mug.
Right, exactly. So if you're not in a craft beer bar or a brewery tap room where they know what temperature they want it served at, what it should be served at, if you're just in, a sports bar or whatever, it's going to be potentially served colder.
And this is the type of thing. This is the type of thing you'd have. Like, you could get an Allagash White in a sports bar. Like, you could go to Buffalo Wild Wings probably and get an Allagash White, because I think over here, I don't think it's the same type of thing where you'd get this type of beer just like just anywhere. And I think it is a lot different in the US in that regard.
I was very surprised at the place that I bought these cans at. I was like, oh my God, I'm buying these.
But it is interesting as well, because I've even been to like more crafty places in the US and they have given me a frosty mug. And I was like, I don't want this, but thank you.
Do you remember that podcast I did where I went on somebody else's podcast and like...
Oh, yeah, because they're from the US. And
I shattered their dreams about a frosty mug.
Yeah, how you shouldn't have that. And they were like, what?
And they were like, what? And the guy was like, I'm going to go and take all of my glassware out of the freezer right now. I was like, please do.
You're like, please don't do that. Just do not do that.
I mean, I was like, if you want to, cool. But then don't expect to get this full sensory experience that the brewer is putting on for you, because it will dull it.
And it's like across the board, you're just basically like, this is the glass I'm going to use across the board for every style and everything. Like, maybe it would work if you had something that you hadn't fridged for long enough, or I don't know, say you were like at a barbecue and they're just in a bucket and maybe like the temperature dropped compared to like in a fridge, or somebody's brought them round and they didn't have them in the fridge when they picked them up. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then you were like, great, frosty glass, because that's going to sort of like try to balance it out a little bit. But if you've got like a draft line that's already running cold and then you're putting it into a frosty glass, like that is something that I can see happening in the US. That would be common.
And like, listeners, you do you. Drink the beer out of whatever receptacle you want, freeze it, do what you like. It's your, it's your beer. You pay for it. You do what you like. But if you want the full range of flavour, don't do that. That is my advice to you. If you're tasting and you want to know that full flavour profile, don't put it in a frosty mug. Anyway, bucket list beers and whether my palate changed over time. I tell you what, when I first had a Hoegaarden, I was like, what is this potpourri juice that has been given to me?
I feel like we've talked about this before because we've had Hoegardens and you're just like, I don't know if I like it
I don't
still.
know if I like this. And actually, I have since come round to Hoegaarden and been like, actually, like, I don't know what I was talking about. Like, I really enjoy it now. But I do, like, no, Franciscana still tastes like potpourri juice to me. Like, I'm not into it. Hoegaarden my palate has grown to Hoegaarden, but not for Franciscana. So yes, I have had those moments. And there are, like, I've had conversations with some of my cruise ship colleagues when we used to go out beer drinking, and we enjoyed a vast range of craft beers while I was over there. And not that long ago, a friend of mine was like, shared a photo of us like sat on the grass in Alaska with bottles of beer in like paper bags, drinking them.
Great, very chic.
While we were having a barbecue, and she was like, haha, like, remember us doing this, and remember all those beers we used to drink. Like, what do you think your palate would think of them now? And I was like, I often think this. Like, there are beers I had then that I was like, this was absolutely amazing. Like, I would like to try it again and see if I still think this is amazing with my knowledge that I have now. Like, would I pick up different flavors?
You did do that with Alaskan though, didn't you?
I did it with Alaskan. I was so scared.
You were shitting it. You were like, oh my god, what if I don't like it?
But it was still as good. And like, I did it with pumpkin from Southern Tier. A friend of mine had one of those, and I was like, I'm slightly scared to taste it because I remember it being absolutely beautiful, and it still was. Like, so, you know, that made me happy. But yeah, there are definitely times where I've had something I didn't enjoy, but I've had it again. And now, and like, maybe it's not my favorite, but I understand the flavor profiles better and why it's the way that it is. And yeah, I'll let you talk about the one that we had together.
I feel like we talked about it enough that I wasn't going to, but I think, yeah,
you don't have to. I'm not going to force you to talk about it.
I think for me, it's hard because of a lot of it is so like memory and good time associated as well. It's like,
yeah,
if I had a red stripe now, because of my memories of having a red stripe, I'd probably still enjoy the red stripe. You know what I mean? Like, it's not what I necessarily gravitate towards and have all the time, but like, if I'm at a gig and they're like, oh, you can have a Carling or a red stripe or whatever, like, oh, I'm gonna have the red stripe, and I'm probably gonna enjoy it because that's just my memories that are connected to that. But I think what I think is similar to what you were saying, going back and having things that I enjoyed, it's always nerve-wracking because you go, what if I don't like it anymore? What if it doesn't live up to that hype? But I think for me, I'll always be okay with the stuff that I used to love because there is memory connected to that, and therefore my brain's like, oh no, but even if I don't think it's the most amazing taste anymore, I'm not left feeling disappointed probably 99% of the time because I think there's always still a good memory connected. I think it's more that if it's something I didn't like before, I could revisit with a wider knowledge, a different palate, you know, your taste buds change. And I think if anything, my palate has grown as opposed to like being like, oh, there's only space for like 50 of you in here, and oh, this one gets kicked out because I'm above that flavor now. I'm above red stripe now, so therefore red stripe, you're out, but like this other thing you're in. And I just don't think that that's how my brain works. I think it's like, these are all good, but also these ones are good now, so like you're invited to the party. Come join us. I wasn't the nicest to you before, but come join us now. I'm really sorry. I didn't realize. It's my resting bitch face. I didn't know. Like, I
apologize for calling you potpourri juice.
Yeah, it's that kind of stuff. It's instead of, I look at it as more like taking a step forward instead of taking a step backwards. So if anything, it's like more inclusive versus less inclusive. But yeah, I mean, Pliny, like, it was fine. Like, it wasn't bad.
I understand why
I get it.
Enjoy it.
Stunning example. Like, stunning example of what it is. I wouldn't even say it's not for me. I think it's just, we're looking at things that have come a long way since they were made a bucket list beer. And
I think for us as well, it's the price over here. Like if if it was on the supermarket shelf
If it's
for,
accessible,
a fiver, if it was, if it was somewhere and you could get it,
if it was
pint for
as accessible
£7,
as
right,
Oregon Trail,
right, then I'd probably be like more like, okay, cool, I get it. But when people are spending like, and again, you do you, it's your money, you buy what beers you want, you drink what you want. But for me, it's not worth 50 quid for a bottle.
80 quid.
Yeah, like the prices that we've seen for this places, like it for me, it's not worth that. But
I get it. The math be mathing on how they got
right.
from A to B. Like,
Yeah.
I get it, but it's just, again, like, I think that's an example. The reason I use that one is because I think that's the example of when people are too afraid to just say, or they think because they've been told this is the top beer, this is the best West Coast like you'll ever have in your life. People spend that money, they have it, and then I don't know if it's because they're like, well, I've spent this money, or because they're told like that is the pinnacle, it doesn't get any better than this, that it's really hard to look at it objectively. And I try with all of these to look at them objectively. Like, obviously Allagash for me is really hard to look at it objectively because I've had it so many times over the years and not really thought about it again. But I admitted, like, I never thought about it as a bucket list beer, but I can see now when going through like all the facts and the details how it's got that status. And it is like such a good example. And again, like, Pliny's not a bad example, it is a great example. But then we are really spoiled with some really great West Coast style. Like Oregon Trail is amazing. And I don't
also, West Coast isn't one of my favorite styles. Like, I like other styles, and that's why beer is great, because there are styles for everybody.
Yes. So that was that piece, and I won't we've hopped on about it too many times enough. But yeah, I think it is interesting, that whole idea of like, as you grow and change and your palate develops and you get more interested in the hobby, again, exactly as I said earlier, of like, if I bought beer now the way that I bought it when I was still in the US, of 6 packs the same thing, 12 packs the same thing, my amount of different styles and different beers I would try would be so much drastically lower, because I'd just be like, buy this for the party or the hangout or the Sunday dinner or whatever, and drink through that, and maybe there's some left, so I'll have some of those. Maybe it's a mixed pack, so maybe I'll have like 4 different ones, but that will last me for week, 2 weeks. And so I think it's a very different drinking habit, in the same way my taste buds are very different in that regard. So
there are definitely a couple of beers, if I could ever get them again, I would love to try now with the palate that I've developed now.
What would they be?
There was this one beer in Alaska from Skagway Brewing Company, and it was a spruce tip blonde, and we used to get it like by the pitcher.
Sounds lovely.
It was so good. Like, it was like this lovely blonde ale base, and then the spruce tips just added like this fruitiness to it. And I don't think I'll ever drink that beer again, because like, when am I ever going to get to Skagway in Alaska again? Like,
I mean, most people don't get to Skagway in Alaska
anyway, right? Exactly. But the spruce tip pale ale that Mysterious Brewing made was very, like, it reminded me of it so much. It was really
a lovely
beautiful.
beer.
And I said to them, I was like, this reminds me of this beer that I had in Alaska. Beautiful. So that that was probably the closest I get to. If I put if I had those 2 beers and I had them side by side, I'd be interested to see if they how similar they were, and whether that's just my memory of it. That would be interesting. But I don't think I'm ever going to get that one again. And what was the other one? I have vivid memories of being in it's a chain of tap rooms, and there was one in Tampa, and like, it's got just like a massive wall of taps, and I was in there with some colleagues, and they had a special offer on Green Flash beers, and I'd never heard of Green Flash, but if you bought 3 beers you got a free glass. So we were like, great. So we were like, cool, let's have three of these beers so we can get free glass, because that's what you did in 2012.
What do you mean that's what you did in 2000? Like, that's what I do
what I
in
do now.
2025.
Now.
You're like,
but,
yeah, buy this pack and you get a bit.
But
yeah,
mate, also it was
sure.
it was like a shaker pint as well. Like, it wasn't a fancy glass. Like, it was just a shaker pint with like green.
Yeah, but it's like that. You're like, that is my
that's your MO
gift. Like, you're like, this is the free gift. Like, this is a memory that I get to take with me.
Carted that glass like all over like various different countries on a cruise ship and still managed to get it home. I think I've still got it in the cupboard. But I had like some of their beers were very heavily hopped. And at the time I was like, oh, that is a lot. Whereas like now, with the palate that I've developed now, my understanding of hops, you know, the job I do, that means I am in contact with the hops a lot more.
You have no choice but to appreciate it.
I have no choice but to appreciate
better or for worse.
So I would be interested to see what my opinions of those beers would be now. I'd probably be like, yeah, I thought that was hoppy at the time. What little did I know? Do you know what I mean?
I think my only ones that I think I would want to try now, I can't think of anything, because I think I've always generally liked most things. I think like I even liked lagers. I just wasn't like, oh, this is. I always just gravitated towards the most interesting thing I could find, or the most interesting flavor combination I could find. Like, I think like even lagers, I go, I drink that. I drink it without thinking about it. Like, that's the easy drink that I drink without thinking about it. And then the other things are like, oh, that's the most interesting thing. I think the one thing I could think of that I'd be like, oh, I'd love to go back and try it now with the palate I have now, would be like barley, like some barley wines. So like, I remember the first time I had a Siren Maiden, however many years ago, and I was like, hate it. Like, took a sip and was like, nope, immediately hate it, do not like it. But it's also because I didn't really, like, that's probably the one thing, like in the US we didn't have a lot of barley wines, and like I never really drank a lot of barley wines over here before I really started getting more into like local craft beers. So because even then, like, what I was buying would be like IPAs and dippers and, you know, pale ales and stuff like that, not so much things like that. And then I remember like trying it at the tap room pre-COVID, and like took a sip of it and I was like, no. Like, immediately, like I couldn't even, but like the thing is, like, I had a small measure just to like try it, and I like literally didn't even want to finish it because I was just like, no. But then hilariously, like, changed my whole mind completely on barley wines, and then I was like, okay, maybe they're actually not that bad. And then I think at that point in time, like, I'd also learned so much more, and like slowly, it's the same way a lot of people go, I don't like sours, and then they have to build up that tolerance. I think eventually I built up that tolerance to be like, oh, actually maybe I like barley wines. Now I'm like, no, barley wines are great. If that's an option, I'll try it. Happy days. So especially if there's something really unique and interesting about it.
Yeah.
But
I still don't really like a Kolsch.
I like a Kolsch.
No, if there's something
I'll take it or leave it. It's not my first choice out of everything. But
do you know what? I had Nico from the Wood at so that's Orbit's Kolsch, and from the Wood cask. That was really interesting. I had that at LCBF this year. Very nice. So I did like that.
Melissa Kolsch. Neptune did Melissa Kolsch.
No,
like
that
a
wasn't
few years
bad.
ago, and I like that one.
Like, the thing about a Kolsch is there's just that little bit of added sweetness. I'm just not a fan of it. I did enjoy.
I take it
Nico
or leave
from
it.
the Wood. So
I like the name. It's a great name. I think I'd probably gravitate towards it because of the name. Right, to finish things off, I've done some. So it's now become fun to, again, I will specify.
Oh, here we go.
I will specify again for my job. I'm always constantly learning and playing with AI, just because it's stuff we have to learn how to do. I thought it was really fun last time to just be like, generate a personality. So I've done that. But then I took it a step further. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with who is Allagash White. So Allagash White as a person, they'd be effortlessly magnetic, friend of a friend who you meet on a warm afternoon and somehow end up talking until the sun goes down. They'd have sun-kissed skin with a subtle gold warmth, the kind of glow that makes you wonder if they've just come back from a weekend sailing trip. Their
Not
hair would
milky
be
sheen.
not milky sheen, no. Their hair would be a soft sandy blonde with natural highlights that catch the light, slightly tousled as if from a bike ride along the coast. Their eyes would be a hazel gold, warm and bright, with little flecks that catch your attention when they laugh. They'd have a laid-back style, rolled-up linen sleeves, well-worn leather sandals, and a hint of citrus cologne that you only notice when you're close.
I was out when you said leather sandals.
Leather sandals, yeah.
I'm out.
It depends on the. Yeah, I'm not. Look, I'm not judging. I'm not a sandal person. Not a sandal person, but you know what? We'll give it where it's New England.
Okay,
it's beach vibes. It's lake vibes.
Okay.
We are in sandal territory.
They can be wearing a pair of Toms.
Which, no comment. Personality-wise, they're approachable but layered. On the surface, easygoing, friendly, and ready to make you feel at ease. Beneath that, a depth of character, a mix of sweetness and spice, and a curious mind that always makes conversations feel fresh. They'd be the type who knows a quiet scenic spot away from the crowds, carries a small notebook of random thoughts, and somehow makes every simple glass of water feel special by adding a slice of orange just because. They're not loud, not flashy, but when they walk into the room, you notice. And if you end up spending an afternoon with them, you leave feeling lighter, happier, and just a little more in love with the world.
Oh,
so that's who they are as a person. And then I said, you know what?
Have they got a name?
Well, they do. And do you want to know why? Because when I was reading that, I've been playing a dating simulator game called Date Everything. It's great. And then I read that and I was like, I feel like they're trying to get me to date them.
It does sound like
it. It does. And I didn't ask for that. I said,
waiting to happen.
Yeah, it does. It does. So I said, well, make me a dating profile for this person.
Oh.
I'm going to share my screen so that you can see. Right, I'm going to share my screen so you can see what they look like. Their name is Al White, but they go by Ali.
Okay.
So let me see if I can. Can you see this?
Yes.
So that's Al White. This is his, like, if this was a Tinder bio, he's got somewhere between the coast and the farmer's market. He's timeless.
Okay.
And then here's another photo of him on the beach.
With his Allagash White with an orange slice in it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Which I'm not sure if you should put an orange slice in Allagash White. Not 100% positive on that.
I don't think we do.
Yeah, no, I don't think you do. And I feel like that would be frowned upon. But you know what? I didn't ask it to do that. It did that on its own.
Did it, yeah. Maybe
so
that's a blue moon he's holding instead.
Yeah, exactly. That
Just
was my feeling. Was he's very clearly holding a blue moon because he wouldn't be holding his own beer. That would be weird because that doesn't exist. Allagash White doesn't exist in this realm. This is just Ali White. I do feel like that visual. Do you feel like that visual really aligned with what they said? Because I feel like I could see that.
Yeah, I could see that.
Do you want to hear what his dating profile would be?
Yes, I do.
So his name, Al White. Friends just call me Ali. Age, timeless, but feels like late 20s in spirit. I can relate because that's exactly me. It's like they've made this about me. And I'm like, yeah, because that's the same. That's what I put on my Tinder bio. Location, somewhere between the coast and the farmer's market. Occupation, part-time storyteller, full-time sunset chaser. Don't know how he pays the bills. Respect it. I wish that could be me. Seems like he's inherited.
He's going to turn up on HGTV with £1 million budget.
And he's like, I catch butterflies.
Right.
And I paint murals. And my budget is $500,000 for a bungalow. And then you're like, how is that your budget? I sing whispers and that's what I do professionally. And you're like, what? What is that?
I pro bono rescue puppies.
Yeah, and then you can't hate him because he's like, I save animals, and look at them, and they all live with me. Look at them all; they're very cute. And you're like,
which is why I need this ranch style house, and my budget is £1 million.
They can't go upstairs; they're very old.
Yes.
It's all got to be on one. It's got to be one floor. Yeah, it's absolutely wild. But yeah, no, I do feel like if I was going to see him anywhere, it might be like he's giving me Martha's Vineyard vibes.
Yeah.
He's given me he's given me nepotism. He's given me, and I like it. You know what? But he's that person that's he's trying to like break free of the nepotism. He's I'm a part-time storyteller and maybe he's a writer. That's it. He's a part-time storyteller.
Yeah.
Full-time sunset chaser. He likes a good beach. So do I. About me, I'm that person you meet by accident on a warm afternoon and somehow end up talking until the sun sets and the air smells like salt and orange peels. That's weird. Okay. I'm equal parts relaxed and curious, the kind of friend who remembers your coffee order, but also asks you what you've been dreaming about lately.
We're getting in creepy territory.
Yeah, it is creepy, isn't it?
Slightly concerned.
I feel. I like unhurried mornings, sun-kissed afternoons, and discovering little pockets of beauty the world keeps tucked away. You'll usually find me in rolled-up linen sleeves and weathered sandals, probably with a notebook in my bag and a slice of orange in my water, just because. I'm not here to be the loudest in the room. I'd rather be the one you gravitate towards without realizing why. What I'm looking for... Please hold your thoughts. What I'm looking for, someone who's as comfortable with comfortable silences as they are with deep conversation. Someone who appreciates the simple things, well-made things in life, a hand-thrown mug, a perfect playlist, a well-cooked meal. If you like to wander without a fixed plan and know how to enjoy slow afternoons, we'll get along. And the perfect first date is a bike ride along the water, stopping to dip our toes in, fresh bread and cheese at a quiet picnic spot, talking until the stars show up without us noticing. And then his little tiny swipe right version is sun-kissed soul who turns simple moments into celebrations. Let's ride bikes, find secret spots, and share a slice of orange with our water. They've really gone all
in on the orange slice in the water. Like, what is that about?
And I think that's what made me laugh, is every single time I was like, I really love a slice of orange in the water. Nowhere did I ever put on any brief, anything about orange slices. I genuinely did not.
I believe you.
And it just kept coming up to the fact that it's in his photo. It's in everything. So how do you feel about him as a person, just like at this moment? I feel like he is a Nepo baby.
Yeah, 100%. He is the youngest child of a millionaire. Like, no.
Of a millionaire. That's the important part of my bag.
He is the youngest child of a millionaire. He's living off daddy's money, writing because he thinks he's gonna, write the next great American novel.
Yeah, he does.
And prancing around on his bike with his orange slice in his water.
He is a bit like, I'm Jack Kerouac.
Not for me. Not the one for me.
Yeah, I mean, he's not my vibes, but he's got some, like, I feel like he's a person that I'd be like, you're a great friend. And I do feel like he thinks he's very charming.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it would definitely come across that he thinks he's charming.
He's like, I'm charming. We know what's happening here. I feel like the bio felt okay, and then when it goes into the dating bio, I was like, oh no.
Yeah.
Oh no. And I feel like it's not nailing the Allagash White, because I feel like it's saying, like, I know I'm great. I think Allagash White's like, I just am great. People just, it is that, like, Allagash White wouldn't be like, you gravitate towards me, right? You just do.
It's just doing its thing. It's just doing its thing, minding its own business, and we all think it's great.
Yeah,
like,
it's like
it is genuinely charming, but it is not trying to be charming.
We do gravitate towards it,
however, is trying too hard.
Do you want to hear about Ali described by introduced to you by a mutual friend?
Sure.
Okay. I've got two versions. This is introed
by...
Is
this person going to be my friend
afterwards? By a mutual friend. Well, I don't know. You tell me. So this is a mutual friend. Ready? Oh, Joe. You haven't met Ali yet? You're going to love them. You're going to love them.
Okay.
Think sunlit Sunday afternoons in human form. That's a weird thing to say.
That is a weird thing to say. My friends don't generally say things like that, but continue.
Yeah, but I would say something like that. I'd be like, what a great person in human form. Be normal. Just act normal. What a great person in human form. Sorry, that tickled me because I actually didn't read this before. I just generated it. It said, do you want me to generate this? And I said, yeah, sure do. And I didn't read it. So think sunlit Sunday afternoons in human form. They've got that warm, golden kind of presence that makes everyone relax. But there's a little sparkle there too. Like they're in on a secret joke you haven't even heard yet. They're the type who remembers your favourite snack, always carries an extra sweater just in case you're cold, and somehow makes you feel like you've known them for years, even if it's only been a few minutes. They smell faintly of orange zest and sea air, wear linen like it's a second skin, and have this way of listening that makes you forget to check your phone. Honestly, careful. You might accidentally fall for them over appetizers.
Yeah, nah.
Am I still your friend after?
Yeah, I mean, you're still my friend.
In
but
human
I am
form?
just going to be like, you're staying here with me while I talk to this person.
It does give me vibes of like manipulator. Like I am getting like manipulator, like, and you can't think there's anything wrong with him because you're just like,
right.
I'm the weird one for thinking
Mate,
he's weird.
This is Joe from you.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Before he turned serial killer.
Oh yeah, you might be right. Yeah. Well, all right. Let's end this with an intro by their ex.
Okay. That was a nice segue.
So, we're at a dinner party. We're like,
their ex is still alive. Good start.
Yeah. It's not Joe. It's just like Joe. So it's fine. I stopped watching because I was like, oh, it's the same thing every season. So I stopped watching. So it feels like I've just recreated it and I'm so sorry. Oh yeah, Ali. Yeah, we used to date. Honestly, they're impossible to be mad at. They've got that golden easy charm, you know, the type who somehow gets along with your grandma and your friends from college. They were refreshing. Like, they could make a Tuesday night feel like a summer vacation. Always smelled faintly of citrus and something cozy, like they'd just come from a sunlit kitchen baking bread. Duh, that's normal. Our problem, everyone loves them. We'd go to a party and by the end of the night, half the room wanted to marry them. Even the bartender would slip them a free drink. We're still friends. Every now and then I'll see them in passing and for a split second I wonder if I should have just held on tighter. And then I remember Ali was never the clingy type. They're a wanderer. The kind of person you savour for a while and then let go with a smile and maybe a little sigh.
So what you're telling me is he's a side piece?
I think we're all side pieces in this. I think we're all Ali's side pieces. I think that's it.
No, thank you. I'm good.
I think you were out at the sandals, if I'm honest.
I was out at the sandals.
I lost you at the sandals.
I tapped out long ago. Like, this person sounds far too clean cut for me.
It was the
girl likes
sandals.
A bit of morally grey. And this ain't it.
Same. I was like, he's too nice. Rick and I had this conversation at the weekend of like when people are too nice, and I'm like, if somebody's too nice, I'm like, what is wrong with you? Like, if they're not, I was like, no one can be nice 100% of the time, because if you're nice 100% of the time, you're like, who hurt you? What's going on? What are you lying about?
There's something under the surface.
Mistrust. Yeah, you're gonna break. That is not okay. So yeah, I agree. I feel like it's too nice. Too nice. He's gonna be like post on All Nice Guys or something next. Like, I don't understand. I smell like oranges and sunsets if they were a human. Well, that's all the AI fun I have for you today.
I enjoyed it. That was good.
I thought you'd like the twist of like, here's the profile, now here's the dating profile.
Just create the next serial killer. I love it.
Yeah, actually, I think we did. And I would say, overall, I don't feel like that's a really good representation of Allagash White. No, I don't feel intimidated by Allagash. I feel Allagash White's approachable. I don't think it's intimidating. I don't think it feels like it's the best one in the room. It just is. Yeah. I don't think it's like, I can see you gravitating towards me. I think you do just
trying too hard.
I think the thing is, Allagash White, you gravitate towards it, but it doesn't even realise that you've done that. Yeah. You've just appeared and it's like, oh, hey, cool, what's up?
Yeah.
So yeah, overall bucket list beer, what's your verdict?
Yeah. Like, if you haven't had an Allagash White, seek it out. It is delicious.
Well, I'm excited to be able to eventually go back to the US at some point in the near future. Don't know when, but at some point. And this time managed to get there before it is closed. I would like to see the inside of it and not the outside of it.
Nice.
So I'm actually going to prioritize it first next time.
Cool. Tori, if people want to give you like recommendations of the time that you should go to Allagash so you can like maximize your visit,
if people want to do it, let me Google that for you and send it to me. It is my fault because I always think, you know what, we've got time. We'll go then. We'll start here.
Maybe they've got like a great itinerary they can give you that includes it.
The problem is there's so many places in Portland, and the way it's all spaced out, when I've done my list, it's always been like, yeah. And I just assume everything's going to be open at all hours of the day.
You do this all the time.
And they're not. They're not. So yeah, if you want to send me a let me Google this for you link that has Allagash's opening hours, just to drive the point home that it really is that easy for me to find out and not miss their opening and closing times. You can send it to me. They do close some days earlier than you expect. You can send that to me on Instagram at adventures_in_optimism. Send me your links, send me your suggested route maps. I've done Portland many, many times, but if you feel like you want to send me like what you think the bucket list beer route of Portland is, or the main area, feel free to email me a Google map that you've saved that I can look at that has all the spots. You can email me at adventuresinoptimism@gmail.com. Or when I do manage to go back to the US at some point in time and I do manage to get to Allagash and have it fresh on tap, I can say just how amazing it is. I'll write a blog post. It'll be great. You can find it at adventuresinoptimism.com.
It'll take us 6 months to publish it.
It'll take me 6 months to publish it from the 6 months in which I actually get a chance to go there and do it. But it'll be there and it'll be great. And I've already put Maine Beer Co. lunch up there. So you can see that one. If you want to message both of us to see which bucket list beers you want us to try next and try to get hands on. We've got a few coming up, but we want to know which ones you want to hear about. Feel free to recommend it to us. You can find us on Instagram or Facebook at A Woman's Brew. You can email us in your suggestions at awomansbrewpodcast@gmail.com. Or you can come and listen to us, find us on our website, awomansbrewpod.beer, which is awomansbrewpod.beer. Joe, if people want to talk to you about the beers that you want to revisit, that if you could have the opportunity to revisit, or why you really don't like Ali, what about the sandals? What about those sandals?
I just don't like the idea of it. I don't like it. I just don't like it. If you want to talk to me about that, I mean, you can talk to me about the sandals, but you're not going to change my mind on that. But you can talk to me about the beers that I've loved and would love to try again. Maybe I'll do a blog post on it.
The beers that I've loved and lost. I've just got a title for you. Loved and lost. Let me know,
because I'm trying to update my website. And we're just going to kind of make it a blog because that's all that it really needs to be nowadays. So we're trying to move that over because your girl's trying to save some dollars. So keep an eye out for that. But you can come and tell me or talk to me about the beers that you've loved and lost, or talk to me about the ones that I have. I am Love Beer Learning on Instagram. I'm on Facebook, but you'll mostly find me on Instagram. I've just updated the banner at the top of my profile, so go have a look at that.
Spicy.
Yeah, and so come and have a look at my blog. Tell me if you want me to write that beers I've loved and lost post and put that on my blog. That is lovebeerlearning.co.uk. Or you can email me lovebeerlearning@gmail.com. This is also a PSA, dear listeners. September is super busy for us.
Oh yes,
your girls are travelling all over the shop. So come check out our profile, probably our stories to see where we're at. But also, we are going to go on hiatus for a few weeks in September because we just haven't got the time to record. So we're going to put this in the next couple of episodes so that you know there is going to be a break in September.
It's not very long. You're only going to miss because we swap to every other week.
Yeah.
You're not going to miss that much.
It's probably 2 episodes.
And every time we say we're going to skip September, we're like, but then also there's that one. We could just do that. It was originally 2 months, and we talked it down from 2-month hiatus to we can just batch record enough before I go to Japan. So it's we'll fine. It'll be fine.
So there'll be episodes, but there'll be some weeks where you won't get one. Feel free to come and look at our profiles, see where we're at if you're missing the episodes. Or come find us and yell at us for not doing episodes, and we'll ignore it.
We're always shocked when people do. We're like, oh shit, someone's noticed.
Somebody has noticed. So come let us know that you've noticed that we've not put an episode out. And let us know what things you'd like to hear when we do put an episode out over on A Woman's Brew. I've drunk all of my beer.
I have as well. It was
delicious. We loved it.
More.
It was tonic. We need more. We need bigger cans. So on that note,
cheers.